Rachel, back with another walkthrough, and I am going to be doing Secret of the Scarlet Hand. So let's get started.
Welcome to my latest case, Secret of the Scarlet Hand. To start playing, choose either Junior or Senior Detective. If you're new to adventure games or need some help, choose Tutorial.
So let's do Senior Detective.
Dear Dad, greetings from the new Deputy Curator at Beach Hill Museum in Washington, D.C. I miss you, by the way. How's Africa? I sure hope this letter reaches you in Ouagadougou before you move on to Nairobi. So I got the internship. Your old friend Franklin Rose was awfully nice to submit my name to the rest of the members of the museum's board of directors. What an opportunity while I'm in between cases. As you probably know, the museum specializes in ancient Maya culture. My supervisor is going to be Joanna Riggs, a well-known archaeologist. Maybe you've seen her name in the news recently, in conjunction with the discovery of a strange Maya monolith. Apparently, it's created quite a buzz among experts in the field. Well, Beach Hill plans to feature the monolith in an upcoming exhibition. Just imagine, this artifact has been buried for hundreds of years, and now it's going to be unveiled to the public for the first time. The museum is short-staffed at the moment, and they're expecting such a huge turnout that they've closed their doors to prepare. I can hardly wait to dig into this exciting project and learn how archaeologists and historians solve the mysteries of ancient cultures. I'll keep you posted. Love, Nancy.
Nancy Drew, I presume. I'm Joanna Riggs. Welcome to Beach Hill. I was just checking the lock on this display case. This is one of the museum's most treasured pieces, a carving of King Pakal.
Who is King Pakal?
Pakal assumed the throne at age 12. Can you imagine? That was 615 A.D. He ruled for 68 years at the height of the Maya civilization.
Is that jade?
Yes, the Maya loved jade and used it for many of their carvings. There isn't another piece like this in the world, and it's priceless, which means I practically had to sell my own grandmother to get it.
How did the museum acquire it?
Leave it to Taylor Sinclair. He's a wizard when it comes to these deals. You'll meet him later. Now then, Nancy, you're coming on board at a critical time for Beach Hill. An exhibit of this caliber is not kid stuff. Franklin Rose assures me you're a real trooper, and I hope he's right because I'm not here to babysit. I don't care who your father is.
I'm glad to be here. Please, tell me more about the exhibit.
In addition to our permanent collection, we're borrowing rare pieces from museums and private collectors around the world. Soon we'll be sitting on the most fabulous collection of Maya artifacts ever assembled in one place. And now that we've scored the monolith, too, Beach Hill sera numero uno.
Was the monolith excavated in Mexico?
Yes, a hot young team of archaeologists, Americans and Mexicans both, dug it out of a cave near Palenque. Every curator from here to Siberia was trying to get a hold of it, but I'm the one who closed the deal.
What does this monolith look like?
It's a massive pillar of stone, nearly 1,500 years old, with Maya glyphs carved into it. We've installed it in the garden. Wait until you see it.
What purpose did the monolith serve?
According to Henrik, the monolith was made at the special request of King Pakal himself, but we don't know what its purpose was.
Who's Henrik?
Henrik Vanderheun, world-renowned expert in Maya hieroglyphics. He's the latest addition to the Beach Hill Brain Trust. I told him I don't even want to see his pointy Vander head till he's got a translation on that monolith.
Do you think the glyphs hold an important message?
I really don't know. The Maya were at their peak during Pakal's reign. After he died, things began to go downhill. The civilization never regained the oomph it had under its most extraordinary king.
What was the key to Pakal's success?
If the message on that monolith is from King Pakal himself, it might give us a clue. Credit for a discovery like that can only spell one thing, my dear. Revenue. Anyway, there's a list of tasks for you in the lab. Once you've knocked those off, we'll regroup.
Shouldn't I have more training?
Don't worry, you'll be in the swing of things soon enough. Go ahead and take a look around the museum. I'm sure you'll find the monolith muy interesante. Or just roll up your sleeves and hit the lab.
Any last advice before I get down to business?
Semper ubi sub ubi.
Which is Latin for something. Okay, let's look around Joanna's office. There's an interview with Prudence Rutherford, who will become more
Topeka
important.
Commission for the Arts. How cultured.
More important later on in this game. And Prudence Rutherford also makes appearances in other games, which is fun. Okay. So let's go check out the monolith. It's in the garden. This is the main museum area. And this is the garden.
Looks like this side is missing a part.
Nancy Drew, or should I say, Detective Drew. I'm Sinclair.
Who told you I was a detective?
I was at a meeting with the BOD recently, and I caught wind of your appointment and your credentials. Very impressive, if I do say so myself.
Well, I'm not on the case right now, that's for sure. I'm the new deputy curator, remember?
So, how's this for a specimen? Ever seen $1 million worth of rock before?
Do diamonds count?
Ouch. Well, they did say you were sharp. Seriously, though, thank goodness you're here. I'm afraid the museum may be in terrible jeopardy.
What kind of jeopardy?
Joanna told me to butt out, but I'm so fond of Beach Hill, I just hate to see it fall prey to scoundrels.
What scoundrels?
It's a sensitive subject. Meet me in my office later and I'll explain everything then.
You've got me worried. Can't we talk now?
Just meet me later. 707 Bing Cherry Boulevard. I've got to go. Enjoy your first day at Beach Hill.
Interesting.
So this is the monolith. It's missing a piece.
It's locked. It needs a card. It's locked.
Can't get in there. And obviously we met Taylor Sinclair. He wants us to come to his office as soon as possible. But first we're going to go to the lab and meet the other character. There's two other characters we need to meet. Henrik is in here, and another character.
You must be Nancy, the new deputy curator. I'm Henrik Vanderheun.
That's right, I'm Nancy. Joanna tells me you're translating the glyphs on the Palenque monolith.
Yes, it's quite a project. The opportunity of a lifetime for me.
How's the translation coming along?
Fabulous. Just fabulous. Anyway, what can I do for you?
I'm curious about your work. How do you go about translating a glyph anyway?
It can be a complicated process, involving research, piecing lots of different elements together, and a healthy dose of guesswork.
So there isn't a definitive dictionary of Maya glyphs where you can look things up?
Oh, I'm afraid not. You see, glyphs are so intricate and full of subtleties that multiple meanings may be embedded in a single glyph. So 3 distinct-looking glyphs may all translate to mean sunshine, roughly, but with different nuances. There is so much we still don't know. Lucky for me, I guess, or I'd be out of a job.
Joanna turned me loose without too many instructions. Do you have any advice for me?
Well, as you've probably heard, the museum is closed in preparation for the exhibit, so you'll have free run of the place. Please explore. The sooner you get to know your way around, the better. Think of the lab as your home base, your center of communications. Anyone who wants to get in touch with you will leave a note or a voicemail here, so check in often. I'm very busy with my work, so you're going to have to be pretty independent, but I suspect you wouldn't have it any other way.
See you around, Henrik.
Will do.
Okay, so this is Henrik's desk. We can snoop at a few things, even though he's here. Some Morse code alphabet, some information on how the ham radio works. This is the ham radio, which he doesn't want us to touch. Oh, we can't even touch it. Oh, wait. We'll get that.
I shouldn't be messing around with this without permission.
This is a business card for the Chaco Canyon Cultural Center. Again, we will need this later. It will come in handy. And then
It's
we can't
locked.
open his drawers. This is Nancy's desk. And the task list that Joanna was talking about. Priority, bring addenda to Monolith Loan Agreement to Alejandro Del Rio at the Mexican consulate for signature.
You have no voicemail. Press 9 for an outside line.
Let's call Franklin Rose. He's the one who sent us here. But we might not be able to talk to him yet.
Boswell, Jackson, and Rose.
May I speak to Franklin Rose, please?
Who may I say is calling?
This is Nancy Drew.
Just a minute, please.
Nancy,
Oh.
great to hear from you. How's the internship treating you? Are Joanna and Henrik showing you the ropes?
So far, so good, I think. There's a lot of work to do before we launch this exhibit, but somehow we'll pull it off.
Glad to hear you're settling in. I'm off to a meeting, but feel free to call me if you have any questions.
I'm sure everything's going to be smooth sailing, Mr. Rose.
Bye, kiddo.
Here's a knob to something. And property of Sunny June. This is our first introduction to Sunny June. He has not been in any of the previous games, but he will be in many future games. He seems to always have been working at the same place that Nancy's at just previously. So this notebook is full of a lot of clues, or just helpful hints on how to do certain puzzles and other things. Periodic table. We can't use that yet. We can't use that yet. And
It looks like some pieces are missing.
one of our tasks is to put this together, but first we need to find 2 missing pieces. They're stashed around the museum. First, let's get the monolith agreement to Alejandro Del Rio. To find the agreement, you have to look over here. Sunny June clearly was making paper airplanes.
I'd better
And,
deliver this to Alejandro right away.
So, let's go do that. And the Mexicans consulate? I don't know if I'm probably way mispronouncing that. Establishing legal provenance. And Alejandro's over here.
How may I help you?
Hi, I'm Nancy Drew, the new deputy curator over at Beach Hill.
So, you're Joanna Riggs' newest pirate in training. How does it feel to join the ranks with the modern-day conquistadors?
I beg your pardon, but how does a deputy curator become a pirate in your book?
You had better brush up on your history, young lady. When the Spanish explorers invaded Mexico, they became known as the conquistadors, or conquerors. They robbed the indigenous peoples of their wealth, not just their gold, but their artwork, their sacred objects. Anything they did not steal, they burned to the ground.
Do you blame Joanna and modern-day art collectors for something that happened long before they were born?
There is more. In the 19th century, archaeologists discovered the ruins of ancient civilizations predating even the Aztecs. Many of the dig sites were robbed, and the stolen artifacts were sold off to art museums and collectors around the world. Today, finally, it is illegal among most civilized nations to remove an artifact from its native country. But sadly, there are thousands of precious antiquities with highly questionable provenance floating around the Western world.
But Joanna only wants to display this artwork, to celebrate it, so the public will be able to enjoy it and learn about your people's great talents and achievements.
If the American public wants to see our art, they should come to Mexico.
What do you mean by questionable provenance?
An artifact's provenance is the story of its origin and ownership. For example, how it made its way from a temple at Chichen Itza to a museum in Washington, D.C. If the artifact's provenance reveals that it has been stolen, then that artifact must be returned to the country of its origin.
Then the relics at Beach Hill must all be legitimate, right?
No, not at all. Provenance documents are often tampered with or forged to cover up the theft. Because of this, thefts continue and a great deal of art is moved on the black market even today. Unethical art dealers and greedy museum curators do nothing to stop this.
Are you suggesting Beach Hill is involved in these kinds of misdealings?
If Joanna Riggs or that overstuffed pillowhead Sinclair had any decency, they would take measures to see that all Maya artifacts were returned to Mexico at once where they belong.
And what if these measures are not taken?
My country will have its due, Nancy, even if I have to begin reclaiming its artifacts with my own 2 hands.
I admire your conviction, Alejandro. Lucky for me, the Palenque monolith is only here on loan from Mexico.
I am still not happy that such a rare find will have its debut exhibition on American soil. But in my country, too, there are people for whom money talks. I will take those documents now. Thank you. I have some business with Joanna at the museum later, so I will return the contract to her then, after I have looked it over.
Are you sure? I don't mind waiting.
You may consider your mission accomplished.
Well, okay then.
Goodbye.
Okay, so that was Alejandro. We've now met all the characters. Let's go to Taylor Sinclair's office to find out what he's all freaked out about.
It's about time! Oh, my fears are like maggots infesting my poor old carcass. Want a cookie? They're from Oaxaca.
No, thank you. You said Beach Hill is in jeopardy. I need to know why.
The art world is being ransacked, Nancy. Prudence Rutherford, a major patron of the arts, had her fire ruby necklace stolen from her villa in Topeka. 2 weeks later, a whole display case full of rare Maya artifacts was heisted from a museum in New Mexico.
Do you think there's a connection between the 2 thefts?
Who knows? I'm just telling you, this community, our friends and colleagues, my people are being systematically trounced by thugs. Who's to say Beach Hill won't be next? You've got to do something.
Doesn't Beach Hill have a security system in place?
The museum has a basic alarm system, but it's not exactly state-of-the-art. I've urged Joanna to approach the board about making some security upgrades, but she just keeps saying that the timing isn't right to ask for money.
I understand your concern, but what can I do to help?
We need your eagle eyes. We need your bat ears. We need you to sniff out the stink of trouble.
I'll do my best, but it sounds like what you really need is a new breed of police dog.
Don't play modest mouse with me.
Okay, no more flattery. Hey, that's an interesting piece, there by your desk. Something tells me it's not a Maya artifact.
How about that rubber shark? The artist's name is Poppy Dada. She's a teenager in South Dakota. The art world is going bananas over her stuff. I'll unload that one for some serious dinero.
Is Poppy Dada her real name?
I don't know.
Joanna says you performed an act of wizardry in helping Beach Hill acquire the Pakal carving.
Getting those provenance docs together was a pig and a half. Oh, they're on the up and up, I assure you. But to have been at the height of my career back before the crackdown, those were the days.
What crackdown?
Maybe sometime I'll tell you a sad story I call How Mexico Lost Its Sense of Humor. Not today, though, Nancy.
Alejandro says you're unethical, a modern-day conquistador, that you're robbing Mexico of its cultural history.
And I say Alejandro is the real bully of the playground, a lunch money extortionist who loves nothing more than to see the other boys and girls go hungry.
When you sell a piece of art, what kind of commission do you get?
Standard, 10%. It's no king's ransom, unless of course you sell something for $1 million. Too bad I'm not allowed to put that monolith on the market, huh?
I'd better get going.
Keep up the good work.
So Taylor Sinclair is an interesting character, kind of annoying. let's go to Nancy's hotel. Just kind of exploring all the places. So here's her journal. It's on her computer. She wrote down Chaco Canyon Cultural Center's phone number. Be sure to check in with Bess and George. And she needs headphones to rearrange audio narrations.